What is up, guys? In today's video we're going to be talking about chasing in Fortnite. As always, if you guys do find this video helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below what you think on this topic. This is a pretty difficult topic to cover because it is very ambiguous and there is no just set right or wrong way to do things at all times. A lot of players will tell you in a lot of different games, it's not just Fortnite, that you shouldn't chase kills and that you should just never chase. And this is kind of true, but at the same time, we all do it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be talking about why it can be detrimental to you, when I decide to chase and when I don't decide to chase, and then kind of what I want to do if an opponent is chasing me. And this will probably be the most anyone has ever said the word chase in a single YouTube video. So the reason why it's often bad to chase enemy players, and if you guys don't know what I mean, it's like you get them weak, they're running from you, and then you're just literally chasing after them. The reason why this can be like pretty bad to do is oftentimes you'll tunnel vision too much on the person you're chasing, leaving yourself vulnerable to third parties and other situations that like couldn't be good for you. And you're often very predictable, and the person you're chasing could try to set up some sort of trap. You'll often be using mobility items like charges on your mobility items if it's nitro gloves, or just shockwaves, or even just your sprint bar, meaning that you could get caught in a bad situation and not have a way out. So like if you use all your glove dashes or all your shockwaves and all your sprint chasing somebody, and then they start to turn the fight on you, you have no avenue to like get out of there, right? Also, let's say the same thing happened. You've used all your mobility. Now a third party shows up. You're kind of just stuck in the situation that you've gotten yourself into. And then a lot of times the person that you're chasing may have healed, and a lot of players forget about this. It's pretty fast to heal in Fortnite. We do have the Machinist medallion, which heals you over time. We have fish that heal pretty much instantly, and then we also have items like the Nuka-Cola, which somebody can drink pretty quickly, and then they're just healing over time. So you might get into a situation where you think the person's weak because you hit them 100, but in actuality, they've healed all that up, and you're fighting a full health opponent. And in Zero Build, if you've hit somebody 100, it really isn't that big of a deal because of the 50 overshield. If you've hit them 100 and 50 of that is overshield, you've really only hit them for 50, and that overshield is going to come back over time if you don't keep damaging them. Again, the opponent will probably be more health than what you anticipated, and this may lead you into playing a fight in a bad way. There is a lot of times where I will want to chase people though, and like as always in Fortnite, if you're just playing only to get the win, you're probably going to be safer than if you're just playing to have fun. And a lot of times when streaming or getting gameplay for YouTube videos, I tend to want to play pretty aggressive and get high kill games. And so the more fights you get into, the more risk you're going to be taking, and the same is true with chasing. If you just want to play very safe, probably best just to let people go. But if you do want to play aggressive and get kills, there are times where you should chase. And the times where I'm going to be very inclined to chase is going to be if I think that person is a threat, or if they have something I really want. Again, this can backfire, so try to be cautious of it. Like I literally just said, I'm most inclined to chase somebody if I think they're a good player. And obviously if they're a good player, the threat of them turning the fight is going to be greater. But the reason why I'm more inclined to chase someone if they're a good player, because if I get good damage on them, I want to take advantage of that and not let them reset the fight and heal. Because if somebody is a threat and you have an advantage on them, it's probably best to kind of push that advantage, take that advantage, and get them out of the game. Whereas if they're not a very good player, you can let them go and it's just whatever. And then also, if they have something I want, most notably, this is going to be like medallions this season. I'm more likely to chase somebody if they're a medallion player than if they're just a regular player, because I want that medallion, especially if I know which medallion it is. Like if I see someone pick up the Megalodon medallion and I hit them 180, I want that kill so I can get the unlimited sprint medallion and the mythic gloves, and then kind of have that for the remainder of the game. You do need to keep in mind though that they probably will turn the fight or try to, especially if they are a good player. You need to be cautious of this at all times. I think the problem, like I said before, is that people tunnel vision too much on like, okay, I have this person weak, I just need to chase and chase and chase. But I think it's best to kind of keep in mind what situations the opponent might try to turn the fight. Where like if they go onto some sort of high ground like a roof, are they going to try to shoot down on you when they get up there? Or if they go around a corner, are they going to kind of play the corner, wait for you to chase them, and then get the kill that way? And so when you are chasing and someone goes around a corner, just assume they're camping it and try to like wide swing that corner or peek it in some way that isn't very predictable. That way you kind of reduce your chances of getting eliminated by that player. And I think it's best if you're chasing somebody to just try to cut them off rather than following their path directly. Because if you do follow their path directly, you leave yourself vulnerable to this. But if you can kind of predict where they're trying to go and then get ahead and cut them off and not follow their path directly, I feel like this reduces your chances of getting the fight turned on you. Also, when a lot of people are running, they'll try to get into cars. And so it's not always, especially like very good players, I feel like don't do this often, but a lot of like the weaker players, when they run from you, they're just trying to get in the nearest car. So knowing the pickaxe trick, which is where you swing your pickaxe as you're entering the car, to be able to pickaxe the opponent through the car. If you guys don't know how to do this, like I said, you swing your pickaxe as you're entering the car, you keep the swing button held the entire time, and then you look at the person in the car you want to pickaxe. And if you already have them very weak, this can be something that's good to go for to finish the fight off if they're getting in a car. Also, like EMPs can be really good for, you know, stopping somebody from, you know, getting away in the car. You just EMP it and now they're stuck. Again, I like to, if someone has a medallion, I'm more worried about getting that kill and thus more likely to chase. But you do need to keep in mind that if someone has a medallion, there's likely going to be more people coming to third party. So it is risky. The times where I won't want to chase is when I'm already weak or if I've used some mobility already. Like let's say I tag the person 100. I use 2 glove uses to get onto him. He hits me 100 back, and now he's using his gloves to get away. So I'm down 2 glove uses and I'm down 100 health already. I might chase that, you know, if I'm just playing kind of like lazily, but it's probably not best to chase that. Like if you were to stop time and be like, is this a good fight? Probably not. So if you're already weak, if the person has gotten damage back on you, and if you've already used mobility to get to them, that's a time where chasing is probably going to be bad because when you're weak already, you're more likely to get the fight turned on you. And when you've already used some of your mobility, you're obviously more likely to run out of it. Also, if I don't think the person is a threat, I'm less likely to chase them. If I think like, okay, this person isn't very good, if I let them get away, it doesn't really matter. I'll probably win the fight later on as well. I don't need to like stress this advantage as much. I'm more likely to let them go. Also, if you know that you're guaranteed to get third partied, if there's already a lot of people in the area or you know there's already somebody with line of sight on your fight, then chasing is probably not going to be good. Late game would be a good example of this. If it's a 1v1v1 and you get one guy weak, he gets away, and then you just try to like hop on him, you're just making it easier for that other player to get a free win cleaning up your fight versus the person you chase. And even if you take no damage, you use your weapons, you need to reload, and you use your mobility that's going to be on cooldown. So a lot of times if I know I'm guaranteed to get third partied, I'll let that first player get away and then just try to take advantage of the fact that the other person is going to try to third party us. And then the final thing I want to talk about in this video is going to be what to do when you are getting chased. The first thing is just going to be to break line of sight. And this just means your opponent won't have line of sight on you. Getting around a corner is good for this. Changes in elevation is good for this. Makes your opponent second guess, where is this person? It makes it more likely for you to be able to turn the fight or to be able to heal. And that is going to be the next thing. If possible, and if needed, heal. And this is why fast heals have been so good in Fortnite forever, because if you can get away for like 3 seconds, well, in the past you needed a full 5 seconds, but let's say you get away for 3 seconds, you get 3 seconds of alone time, you can drink part of a big pot or use some flowberry fizz, or in the case of Nuka-Cola, drink it, and then now you have some health back and you're more likely to win that fight if you are like a bit healthier, obviously. And then the final thing is just going to be to try to look for opportunities to turn the fight and use the opponent's confidence against them, because a lot of people, if you try to get away from them and they're chasing, they're overconfident about the fact that you're scared or that you don't want to fight. And a lot of players have kind of been conditioned that when people are running, they just don't defend themselves. I'm sure we've all been there where you're fighting people and it's just like, at what point was this not going to go my way? Because they just never defend themselves. And your opponents may have also dealt with this a lot, so they might expect you to be one of those people. And so if you can get to a spot and like look for damage back on them, that's going to make it much more likely that you'll win the fight and end up winning the game. So here's a good example of this here. I was fighting a car, and I knew this person wanted to use the car, so I think I went up a hill and then tried to turn back and EMP them, but it didn't go my way. I didn't get the damage I wanted, and so I end up gloving towards Lavish and getting on one of these roofs, because this is decent cover for me to be able to shoot back at the car, but it's also a spot where the car is going to have an incredibly inconvenient time pushing to me because of like the way the terrain is and the like the fences and stuff at Lavish. And even if the player does get out of the car, that's also going to be an easy opportunity for me to beam them. And I turned what like could have been a weird fight, a weird 50-50, into just a very easy fight for me by baiting this car into a situation that wasn't good for them. And that's the type of thing you want to be doing, especially versus cars. I feel like if you kind of like dash away from them a few times and you have EMPs, you could just look back and throw them. And that's like going to be the easiest time to EMP cars, I think, is when they're trying to drive straight at you. And when they have that kind of like false sense of security and false sense of confidence. If you can get around a corner when an opponent is chasing you, then, you know, being able to use that corner as a right shoulder peek and hit them with your shotgun, even if you're behind in damage, if you have right shoulder peek and you hit like a good shotgun shot to open the fight on somebody who's chasing you, that can definitely like reset the engagement and tip the odds in your favor. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope this was helpful, informative, interesting. It's a harder topic to talk about, like I said at the start of the video, because a lot of it is ambiguous and a lot of it is just kind of like preference, and there isn't really one set or wrong or right thing to do. But I hope this video was helpful. As always, if it was, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and comment down below what you think of this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.